And what's up, Doc? Today, we're going to draw Bugs Bunny. Come on, let's get started. Now, Bugs Bunny, very much like a lot of the Warner Brothers characters, begins with an egg shape instead of a circle. So what we're going to do, and I'm going to bring it kind of low to the page here to give room for the ears. So we're going to draw an egg shape, just like this. Now, I'm going to draw that egg on an angle so that this side of the egg is a little more vertical than on the front side. And the vertical access line that we're going to draw is going to be off to the side. Bugs Bunny likes to face one angle but look directly at you while he's facing away from you. Okay? And then his horizontal axis line is going to be about a third of the way up from the bottom. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to extend those lines a little bit, and we're going to draw in kind of like a bowl shape down at the bottom. And from there, I go to the crosshairs of the axis lines, and I'm going to come up on an angle on either side. And then I'm going to connect the corners of the bowl with this line here. And that's going to give you his full cheeks, okay? And from there, what you want to do is draw in an oval right there in the middle of that crosshair. And that oval is going to be for his snout. Now from there, what I do is draw in those great big expressive eyes. They're oval shapes on an angle. Okay, we got one on that side, and then we've got one on this side. And because he is off at an angle, this eye is going to be thinner than this eye. You're going to see more of this eye than this. Okay? Now, once we have that in place, what I like to do is I like to go back to the snout and draw in his nose. So because he's on an angle, what we're going to want to do is draw in that upside down triangle nose off to the side a little bit. Okay? And this line is going to be a little longer than this one here for some perspective. So from the corner of that nose off to his cheeks, give that gray area on the bridge of his nose. And what we're going to want to do is give him a higher bridge. Okay? Now from there, I draw in his upper lip, and it's going to start just below the corner of that triangle, and we're going to fill in a darker line the bottom of that oval and bring it up here in the center. Okay? Okay, now I'm going to give him his laugh line. His laugh line, for Bugs Bunny, his laugh lines are pretty big. Okay? They're very expressive. All right. So we've got that even on both sides. Obviously you don't see this on this side because this is covering it. Okay? You got to give him his mouth. A lot of artists today are forgetting this line right in here. Without this line, he doesn't have a mouth. So his teeth, he has two buck teeth in the front. So I draw in a little line here. And then I draw in a shape just like this. Nothing too sharp or jagged. You don't want to go too big on these teeth or too small. But you want to give him good size set of teeth here. Underneath it for his lower lip, just a very small indent, just like that. All right, so now that we have Bugs Bunny's face in place here and we have his cheeks, I'm going to go back into that initial head shape and I'm going to define it a little bit because he's not really an egg shape at all. That was just used for the beginning of the character. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut into the top of that egg shape to give him the top of his head. Okay, so it's roughly, you go to the top of this eye here, we're going to come in a little bit. Okay, and we're going to just define the side of his head just like that. Okay, see, that looks more like Bugs Bunny to me now. And then from there, I'm going to draw in his ears. Now his ears go back a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to just use that line as a guideline to draw in just the idea of the back side of one ear. His other ear will start right around here, and I'm going to bring it in a little bit more. Okay. Then I'm going to fill in his ear shape like so. And I'll do it on the other side as well. Just like that. And then draw in the details for the inside of his ear. You want this side to be a little thick, and then this side to be a little thinner. Overlaps there. Same thing with this one, but I'm going to go a little thicker on the back ear because we're going to see a little bit more of the side on that one. All right. So now with Bugs Bunny, he's looking over to the side in our drawing, right? So he's facing this way, but he's going to be looking right at you. Bugs Bunny likes to break the fourth wall. So when he's gotten something over on Elmer Fudd or on Daffy Duck, he wants to show you he's very sly and very crafty. So what we do is we draw in those eyelids nice and low. So I'm going to just draw that line right across here, just like that. And of course it's loose and it's light, so I'll be able to erase that later. Then, what I like to do is I'll draw an oval like this and an oval like this. Okay? Now for Warner Brothers version of eyelids, it's a nice thick line at the bottom of the eyelid on both sides. Okay? And for his eyelid, so the front goes out there like to a point, right? And then it comes up here. I'm going to do the same thing on this side here. And now on the back side, it only comes down a little bit of the way. I'm going to erase that part of the line later. And I'm going to darken in his eye here. And I'm just going to fill in his pupil so you can see the difference here. Of course, you'll leave a little bit for light reflection in the corner. Okay. Now, once I finish these lines, it'll make more sense. Okay, so I've got him looking directly at you while facing away. Okay, now for the finishing touches. So we've got tufts of fur on his cheeks. So remember that line from earlier. So I'm going to draw in a tuft of fur here, a tuft of fur here, and a tuft of fur here. We do it in threes in cartooning. Okay? And I'm going to do the same with the other side. This line, and a tuft of fur here, a tuft of fur here, and a tuft of fur right there. And then I bring down the cheek. And it's the same thing with his whiskers or any tufts of hair. So he's got 3 tufts of hair toward the top of his head. So again, I'm going to do one here just like that, one here like that, and then one just like that. Okay. Let's just draw in a neck. So we've got 3 lines for his neck because we've got a gray part and a white part to his neck. And it comes off him just like so. And now we're ready for some inking and cleanup. So I grab my marker here, and I'm going to start in with the nose. Bugs Bunny first debuted in 1938 as Happy Rabbit in the Porky Pig cartoon Porky's Hare Hunt. His name changed to Bugs Bunny in 1940. His sarcastic and tricky personality made him an immediate star. Voiced by Mel Blanc, his catchphrase, "What's up, Doc?" became synonymous with sarcasm. A little-known fact is even though Mel Blanc was allergic to carrots, he chomped down on the real thing to get the sound effect just right in every cartoon. After trying other vegetables, he felt nothing else sounded close. He would leave recording the catchphrase to the end of each recording session as he would swell up after chewing and spitting out the real carrots. The techniques I'm demonstrating here were taught to me by an old friend and Warner Brothers great, Kirk Mueller. From the egg shape down to the corners of Bugs' mouth, I owe my cartooning expertise to him. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Also, you might want to check out some of my other videos right here. Hope you enjoyed cartooning with Paul, and until then, we'll see you later.